Center for Spiritual Living, Port Angeles, on this, just the night after solstice, on the 22nd of December. Glad to have you all with us this evening. You that are here, you that are out there, we're glad to have you with us for this turning of the wheel, this time of life where everything seems to be shifting in a new direction. I can attest to that. We're going to open with our group song, God Is, with our lovely accompanist, Catherine. I invite you to sing along and let the words just kind of sink into your body. Let it use this opportunity to become present, to let whatever else went on during the day just go. And just become here now. That breath. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of this life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of this life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of this life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. Last time. God is all there is, and I am one with God. God is all there is, and I am one with God. My heart is open to the full expression of this life living me. God is all there is, and I am one with God. Is I am, and so it is. We take that breath, and so it is. You can replace that with love is all there is, and I am one with love. Peace is all there is, and I am one with peace. It all works. We unite with that which is a principle that we are connected to, that we are intrinsically a part of. I invite Reverend Clancy up for our opening reading. Our brief time of silence, I will bring us out with the gong of the bong, and then we will have some prayer from Reverend Clancy, and then we'll get into some more beautiful music.
Ernest Holmes wrote, "Within us is the unborn possibility of limitless experience. Ours is the privilege of giving birth to it. Privilege of giving birth to it. Let's just contemplate that for a few moments. Because we know and affirm that Spirit is limitlessly creative. And Spirit then must be that limitless potentiality of all creation, of all life. All life includes everyone, everywhere. And that same spirit of creativity, possibilities moving in and through everyone in this very moment. We move into this time together, to this holiday time together, this celebration of life in all of its varied experiences, uniquely each day, embracing that possibility that in this moment, there's a new possibility, there's a new birth, there's a new expression, there's a new creativity. Because Spirit is eternally expressing in and through each as love, as intelligence, as peace, as power, as energy, as freedom, as joy, as light. I'm so grateful this opportunity is mine to speak these words, to reaffirm and remember them, and then I simply release them like the seeds that are planted, knowing they are growing, they are blossoming, even as they are the seeds of possibility. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Clancy. The words for this song are on the back of your program. And I'm going to explain a little bit about it in my talk. So easy to judge, so hard to find mercy, and who are we, how could we turn them away? So easy to judge, so hard to find mercy, and who are we, how could we turn them away? Let himself rule upon his throne. Go ahead and cast the first stone. When you're left standing all alone, there's no one who condemns, we just begin again. Mercy triumphs over judgment once again. Mercy triumphs over judgment once again. So easy to judge, oh Spirit, forgive
you know we'll reap what we have sown. True vibrations let us know we're home. We must forgive within 70 times 7. Mercy triumphs over judgment once again. Mercy triumphs over judgment once again. So easy to judge. Oh, Spirit, forgive me and fill me with your perfect love. So easy to judge. Oh, Spirit, forgive me and heal me and fill me with your perfect love. With your perfect love. With your perfect love.
Love it. Love it, I love it. Those of you that have been listening to my talks for a little while, notice I say that a lot. I love it. I love it. I love a lot of things. I like a lot of things. And I love it also comes from an inspirational, motivational speaker that my husband and I have seen at a workshop live, and he's all over the internet. His name is Kyle Cease. And he says, no matter what's going on, no matter what's going on, you say, and I love that. Car breaks down, my car broke down, and I love that. This terrible things happens, and I love that. We just love whatever's going on. Just love it. Love means a new definition that we got from Reverend Clancy this week, and a kind of a combination of some input from Will. Leaving other value expectations. Love. Leaving other value expectations. When we have an expectation about how something needs to be, we have our values that we've placed on something, and we're holding so fast to it that we don't have any room for anything else. That's not love. Love is whatever's going on, whatever's happening. We just love it. My talk title tonight is Sacred Birth. And this time of year, we talk about this man who supposedly lived a long time ago, who was supposedly born on December 25th. And then there's all the historians that say, well, that's impossible. There's all this hubbub about that, because if they're talking about shepherds with their lambs, that was in the springtime. So how could it be December 25th? But it doesn't matter. Myths, stories, any story, biblical stories, stories from any other holy book, stories that have been told for millennia, they all carry some deeper truth for us today. We don't have to take these stories so literally. We can take them as, what do they mean for me? So that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about our sacred birth. Birthing into something new. It's something we do again and again and again. Christians say we are born again. I think we're born again and again and again. And I'm not talking about reincarnation. Some people believe in that, some people don't. That's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about all of the times in our own life, this particular frame of time between our physical birth and our physical death on this plane in this time. How many times are we reborn? Over and over again. And what does that look like? It seems to me that there comes this dark night, which happened last night, darkest night of the year, longest night of the year. And in that time, I noticed just before yesterday, there was a lot of weird energy going around. There was a weird energy in my body the night before. I could not sleep. I was restless and uncomfortable in my body. I felt like I needed to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go for a run. I probably should have. There was clearly adrenaline or something moving in my body that needed to get out. I spoke to a couple of other people the next day, and it seemed like there was a lot of weird, hinky energy for a lot of people that day. Just uncomfortable. And I asked some people who have actually physically given birth what that was like right before it happened. And what I hear a lot is the same thing that I've witnessed. I've witnessed a few people passing over in this lifetime and transitioning from this physical plane to whatever's next. And I've noticed that both in that time of physical birth as a baby and that time of letting go in a transition, there's this restlessness in the body. It's like the person just can't get comfortable. And I imagine that the baby in the womb is moving around like, this place is just too small for me now. It was good before, it was comfortable and warm and familiar and safe, but it's too small for me now. I gotta get out of here. And there's this restlessness. And there's this high energy and strange goings on. Can you imagine being in a womb and all of a sudden start going, ooh, I'm being crushed in here, get me out of here. That must be really odd. And I've witnessed that with people that I know that have passed through this life where I've been very present as they were making their way out. It's that same thing. They feel crushed and squeezed. They're too small for their body, so they have to go somewhere else. In the story of Jesus' birth, they talk about Joseph and Mary going to Bethlehem. And in the metaphysical translation of Bethlehem, Bethlehem is crowded with random thoughts, confusions, and questions. Bethlehem is very crowded. That's why there's no room at the inn. We all have our own internal Bethlehem, that place that is crowded with random thoughts, confusions, and questions. We struggle with that. I struggle with that. I don't know about you, but I'm guessing. I noticed when I was restless, I had a lot of crazy random thoughts. I had a lot of fear thoughts, a lot of darkness. And I have tools. I've been around the block. So I did with some of my tools, and still I could not sleep. Still I was restless. Still I was uncomfortable. And so when we come to Bethlehem, this place of confusion and crowded thoughts, we can then begin to prepare. In the story, Joseph and Mary went to a stable. They found shelter in a stable. And in the metaphysical translation, we call that your center of light. They found a center of light, a place of peace and quiet. I can imagine in that crowded city that quiet stable must have been very peaceful, very quiet. And that's where we can begin to prepare for what's coming, for what's next. My beautiful bonus daughter had a marketing meeting with me this week about our center. She's a great person for marketing. And she opened me up to a bunch of new ideas. And we talked about the necessity of we want to grow. We want to grow as a spiritual center. We want more people to be able to come and experience what we have to offer here. And we have a lot of irons in the fire to get this place really ready to accommodate the number of people that we'd like to have. Right now, you're witnessing us meeting in a living room. It's lovely, and it's very warm and very homey, and we want to expand. And so there are some things we need to do. And in that conversation, that was the day of the restless night that I had. And so when I look back at that now, I can see, that conversation brought up in me my old ideas of fear and unworthiness, and there's just too much to be done. It's never going to happen. My automatic go-to, which is abdication. That's my things. Everybody's got their own thing that when they're stressed, they go to. Some people get really busy, and some people focus on one thing. Well, I go to abdication. Well, it's too much. I can't do it. I give up. I don't know about anybody else, but that's what I do. So I got to recognize that. This is my pattern. This is my thing. This is my go-to when I'm getting freaked out, when I'm upset. And then the phrase keeps going in my head, build it and they will come. Build it and they will come. which means we, the people who live on this beautiful property, we get to do some work. We get to do some planning, and we don't have to do any of it, we get to create a space that's inviting for more. And there's a lot of steps to do that. And sometimes that can feel overwhelming. And the saying goes, take one bite of the elephant at a time. Don't try to eat the whole thing at once. Well, when I was restless, my brain was trying to eat the whole thing. It was trying to get it all done in one day. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We get to create first in mind what we desire. This goes for everything. We create it first in our mind. We've been visioning this place and this spiritual center for a long time. I've had a vision of this property for over 15 years. If I'd been impatient, I would have given up a long time ago. If I'd given into my abdication mode. But now we are in the preparation phase. We are preparing for the birth of something new. The Science of Mind textbook talks about this. Pure spirit exists at the center of all form, of the material. Of itself, it is formless. This pure spirit is completely formless, but it is ever giving birth to form. The forms come and go, but it, spirit, goes on forever. We are some part of it. If pure spirit is at the center of everything and is always responding to our thought, there is no limit to its manifestations for us, except the limitations that we set. Except for the limitations we set. There is no limit in spirit. If it could create a gnu and a zebra and a giraffe, what can't it do? You know, if it can create planets and universes and solar systems and nebula, there's no limit to what this powerful energy, this force, whatever we choose to call it, can do. And it's for us, in our consciousness, to create the form, the mold that spirit pours itself into. If my mold is there's never enough, and it's never going to work, and I don't know how this is going to happen, and I'm clearly not enough for this, well, that's the mold that gets filled up. If I create a mold of, well, I don't know how it's going to happen, but here's what I'm visioning. Here's what I keep seeing in my mind's eye. Here's the thing that I keep pointing towards. That's the mold that begins to be filled. So we build it, we create in mind, we create it before we begin to build. You know, when we're doing a remodel on our house, and we had to have plans. We had to have very detailed plans with specifications. We're adding some bathrooms to our barn. We have plans. We can't just start nailing stuff together willy-nilly. And we trust that the right people to create it and unfold it are coming forth. And they do. They show up. They just do. This song that we sang, Mercy Triumphs Over Judgment, once again, it sounds very biblical when we first look at that, but I'm not talking about judgment from someplace else, from on high, from God judging us. The mercy is our own, and the judgment is our own, and our internal mercy can triumph over any judgments we can have that may be going on in us. First, mercy towards ourselves and our process. When I was really fashing about the other night when I couldn't sleep, that little part that wants to take me off into the darkness was wanting to beat myself up. And I said, no, honey. No, let's not do that this time. Let's do something else. Have some mercy for yourself. Let that judgment go. Let it triumph over the judgment. We also then can stretch that out to having mercy for others. And mercy sounds again like, oh, have mercy on me. That's not what it is. For me, mercy is like gratitude. Mercy is kindness and compassion. So we begin to cultivate this mercy. We begin to cultivate forgiveness within us. The song says, you know, we must forgive within 70 times 7. That's a lot. Over and over and over again, we practice forgiveness of ourselves, of others. And forgiveness is not for the other person. I read yet again another story about this very thing. Oh, actually, I saw it on Facebook. This young woman, Muslim woman, who had been hit in the face with a beer stein, and somebody said, "Speak English," and hit her in the face with a beer stein. And she was in court, and they recorded it, and she was speaking to the person who had hit her. And she said, "I forgive you. I forgive you." It'd been a year. She had a lot of time to process and to do her own internal within work. And it wasn't forgiving the other person for that other person's sake. She said, "I do not choose to carry this burden of unforgiveness, and I hope you do the same. I hope that you learn," she says to this other woman, "I hope that you discover how to forgive for your own sake, for your life." That is what my religion teaches. And I felt that was so powerful. And I've seen that before. We saw that in the victims of the terrible shooting in the African American church in the South, where they almost immediately forgave that young man who killed so many of the people they cared about. I'm not saying it's easy, and it's not for anybody else. It's for us. And forgiveness doesn't come from some outside force. "Oh, please, God, forgive me." When we're singing, "Spirit, forgive me," it's the Spirit within us. Forgive me my sin, my mistake of forgetting the truth of who I am. Let that powerful presence within me rise up so that I can step into forgiveness. That's how I take the words of the song that we sang. Heal me and fill me. We're not broken, so heal me to me and fill me is replacing darkness with light. Last week I talked about finding replacement thoughts for those repetitive ones we have that tell us we're crap. So find replacement thoughts. Replace the darkness with light. Heal me and fill me with what I know already, what I deeply know inside of me. That's an invitation for all of us. Back to the biblical story, after we go to that place of light, that center of light, Herod in the story represents that part of ego that is opposed to the new and that wants to cling to judgment. I think we all have that part of our ego. We're not denigrating the ego. It does a lot of good things for us, and sometimes it gets in our way. In the book that I've been using a lot this month, you know, You Are a Badass, she talks about the ego as the big snooze. I love that. It just takes away all its power. Oh, you again. The big snooze, the ego. Wanting to control, opposed to whatever's new, and clinging to that judgment, not having any mercy for it. And so here we are at the turning of the wheel, going from dark to light, back again, this cycle that happens every year with great regularity. And here we have another opportunity to be born again, to be birthed again. 70 times 7, over and over and over again. And each time we are going up the spiral of life. If you picture a spiral that starts off kind of small, this is where we kind of enter this world, forgotten who we really are. And then the spiral always goes broader and more upward. And every time we're on a cycle of that spiral, we seem to bump into our own personal stuff. When it's a small circle, we bump into it often. And sometimes we don't go through it, and so we get stuck on that level. But the minute we go through, we push through whatever the fear, the angst, the unforgiveness, the whatever it is, the minute we push through, we pop to the next level. We pop up on that upward spiral of life. We're born again to a new level. And our stuff keeps following us. It keeps trailing us along. Oh, there you are again. And eventually it's really far apart before our stuff hits us in the face. Now we can see it from afar. Oh, there you are. Hi, old friend. Hi, fear. How you doing? Hi, unworthiness. Long time no see. And when it comes along, we can greet it, say, I see you, and then get out of the way and let it go by. And then we move to the next level. When someone is giving physical birth to a physical child, the most important thing is the breath. The most important thing. Breathing into what's happening. Breathing and relaxing into whatever wants to be birthed, however it wants to be birthed. Just take a deep breath. Just a relaxed breath, not a forced deep breath, but just a deep, comfortable breath. Take another one. Feels good just to stop and breathe. When we breathe with some intention, when I was having trouble falling asleep, I put on a little thing on my phone that's a guided meditation into sleep. And it kept reminding me that with each deep breath, just allow your body to relax. Not make your body relax, not force your body to relax. Allow. Allow your body to relax. I get to remember that. When I'm feeling tight about something, allow the relaxation. So I'm going to invite us into, it's story time now. I'm going to invite Catherine up. And I'm going to read you a story. And you can have your eyes open or closed, whatever feels comfortable for you. Either way is good. There came a time when there was a call for a new birth, a time of love and peace to be realized across the land, a counterpoint to the law that had come before. And there were those who heard and heeded this call. The messenger of this call was a spirit angel, and the receiver was innocence. The angel spoke to Innocence. It told her of the mission on earth, to bear a consciousness who would demonstrate a love that would reign throughout the ages. Innocence was chosen to step into the unknown, to carry the seed of the new idea, to nurture it into life, and to bring it forth as a gift to the world. Innocence was troubled, wondering what such an idea might mean. And the angel said, with God, nothing is ever impossible, and no word from God is without power or impossible to fulfill. So Innocence said, let it be done according to what you have said. And she stepped through fear and doubt into the faith of spirit. And there was worldly experience, beloved of Innocence, who was uncertain of the call, but listened to the spirit within and came to support the new idea, the vision, stepping forward even as the way was unclear. As the time of the birth approached, Innocence and worldly experience made their way to a place of simplicity, a center of light. There, Innocence birthed Christ consciousness. There were others who bore witness to the call of the spirit angel and followed the vision, not knowing where it would lead them. Wise ones from the east who followed a star, and shepherds tending their flock, who heard the words of an angel from on high, and a heavenly host who affirmed the truth of the message. They all came to the place of the birth, the center of light, and were filled with the glory of spirit, seeing it as manifest before their eyes. The vision became form. The wise ones gave gifts from their heart of hearts and returned to their own lands, filled up and overflowing. The shepherds went forth and told others of the divine occurrence, glorifying and praising the experience. And a new way was born, one of love and peace expressed through the birthed consciousness, as the angel had foretold to innocence. Do not be afraid. You have found grace, free, spontaneous, in absolute favor and loving kindness with God. And then you took your first breath. Take another breath. You may as well stay here. So what is wanting to be birthed through you this year? You don't have to know that right now. Just sit with it, contemplate it, and see what emerges. If you're in our vicinity, come to our New Year's Eve process and see what shows up. And if you're not, I know that there are many, many ways and processes for you to uncover what wants to be birthed through you as you. Listen to those heart tugs. Listen to that which calls you. Have a blessed, blessed holiday. Whatever your faith, these are the holy days. This is our time for giving and receiving. We have a conscious giving prayer that we say every week. It's just a way for us to tie in and remind ourselves what we're really here to do and be. I invite us to say this together as we hold our gifts over our heart. I am open to give. I am open to receive. I am grateful to be in the flow of life, through and as me. Take two. And I love that.
Spirit, surrounding me with thee. Om, Great Spirit, becoming one with thee. Om, becoming one with thee. Surrounding me with thee in rivers, rocks, and trees. Surrounding me with thee, oh, I want to be set free. Oh, Great Spirit, surrounding me with thee. Oh, Great Spirit, becoming one with thee. Oh, becoming one with thee.
Tea and goodies in the other room. We invite you to join us.
Om, Great Spirit, surrounding me with thee. Om, Great Spirit, becoming one with thee. Om, becoming one with thee. Surrounding me with thee in lightning clouds, your breeze. In your light I see that now I am set free.
And so it is.